Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.
Hello. As promised, I've got Alan Dreezer in the studio with me. I've played your single 3 weeks on the trot, and I'm so pleased that you've joined us here in the studio. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, Ben. Thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. People don't want to hear me talk, so I'd like you to give us a brief history of your music career so far.
Sure.
And we'll move from there.
Certainly. Well, I've been making music for a long time, initially in a duo in the 80s with my best friend, and we had a management deal and we toured with, if some of your listeners probably remember, the band Brother Beyond in the 80s. Did a UK tour with them, had a single out, had a management deal, and for one reason or another, it didn't quite work from there. After that, took a bit of a break from music and then decided I was going to come back as a solo artist with the guy that I was writing songs in that duo. He was going to produce the new solo stuff. So we started to do that. I went on holiday to Florida in 2006, this was now, and had loads of missed calls and found out that my best friend had been murdered.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, obviously a huge shock. And it kind of then made me kind of step away from music for a little while. And then I was working in retail. I was a retail store manager. And one of the guys there said, "Oh, what do you do outside of work?" I said, "Oh, I do play tennis and this and that." "Oh, I'm in a band. I'm in a covers band. And we've just lost our lead singer." And I went, "Oh, yeah, I used to sing back in the day, And then over about a 3-month period, he kept coaxing me to come back into music. Eventually I did, and we started as a covers band and started playing songs. And at the same time, I was going through a marriage breakup and started writing loads of stuff down about it, like these emotions are coming out. And I said to the guitarist in the covers band, I said, "I've got this idea for a song." I said, "Have you ever tried to write songs?" I mean, not really. I said, "Well, let's get together one evening around yours and, just mess about with the guitar and see what we come up with." And we started to write songs, and then started to bring those into the cover set, and then it started to build, and we started to get a little bit of a following, and we played live, and eventually we recorded an album, had a launch party, did a few gigs, promoting it, and it was going really well for a couple of years. But after that sort of 2-year period where we'd released 2 albums, there were 7 of us in the band, and each one of those other 6, if you like, had some other priority other than the band, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it started to become more and more, actually being on stage with the guys was brilliant, but all the politics and everything else behind it started to get me down. And eventually I made the decision, which I probably should have done a couple of years before I actually did, to step away from the band. And secretly I went into the recording studio that we were using and recorded a solo song, which was called We've Come a Long Way.
I listened to that one. That was an excellent track. Which
is, like you said, quite 80s electro vibe. And it was a revelation. It was a revelation. I think all these years I've been messing about, waiting for people that don't turn up for rehearsals and this and that and the other. And I thought, this is what I want to do now. I'm in control. I can do it at my pace. I can go in whatever direction I want to do from here in terms of musically.
I know I said I wasn't going to waffle on. I do have a question for you.
Yeah, go on.
Do you think, given your experience of the earlier period and now, that it's harder or easier to make music and get it heard?
Personally, for me, it's easier because what we were doing when we were in the band, I literally Googled studios in Essex because we were from Essex at the time, and this studio came up and we went along there, and I've been going there and met this guy called Elliot Richardson, and I've been going there ever since. And when I went and did the solo song We've Come a Long Way, he was the guy I went to and said, "Look, have you ever felt have you ever co-written with anyone else? And he was like, well, yeah, I have in my band, because he's in the band as well. And he said, but, if that's what you want to do, I'd love to give it a try. And that relationship is a fundamental reason why I'm a solo artist and still doing what I'm doing, because our relationship is so strong. But he's quite happy to be in the background. He's quite happy just to be the producer and let me go out and do the promotion and, be a solo artist and be creative in the way that I want to. But over this 12-year period, we've got this kind of, we've developed this kind of telepathy between us in terms of musical direction, how we work. I mean, we work in a very structured way, because I'm not particular. I'm a lyric writer and a melodist. I come up with literally the process for me for writing songs is to go to a studio, and as we were sitting here now, you would be Elliot, and I'll go, this is a song I've come up with, and I'd sing it from start to finish. And then his job is to bring in the accompaniment, and I would then provide him with some reference tracks. I think, maybe the drums should sound like this, or the keys should sound like that. And we layer up the song, and I kind of co-produce it with him. And that's our process, and that's what's worked for me since I've been a solo artist since 2017 till now. That's the process. It really works for me. I've learnt a lot about marketing and promoting myself over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, and I actually help quite a number of other artists with their promotion because of what I've learnt.
Excellent.
And that's why I feel being in total control and, releasing music in 2 ways. One, because I release it when I want to, but also when I can afford to, because it's an expensive hobby until it isn't. Yeah. So for that reason, in answer to your question, solo all the way for me. It's always been that.
Excellent. Tell us about the new single and the forthcoming album, because we've played it 3 times. I'm going to keep playing it because it's fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Where did it come from?
Yeah, it came from listening to Blondie, Heart of Glass. Great track. And I don't know about you, but when you listen to a song, it takes you back to a moment in time quite often.
Yeah.
And this is what that song do. And I was listening. It came on. I think it was on the TV or something. I can't remember now. But it came on, and I thought, do you know what? Who was I with then? And I was trying to date this girl when I was 14 years old, and she didn't have a clue that I liked her. And it was really funny. I was really shy, 14-year-old, trying to impress this girl who loved Blondie. So I used to go up to her and sort of just, have you heard Blondie's new song? But, just trying to get into a chat with her. But I was actually a big Police fan, so we had this kind of banter between us of, she was a Blondie fan, I was Police and whatever. And I never ever told her how I felt, but I wish I had done. You never know, do you?
You never.
But that's I remembered that, and then I thought, well, who else did I knock about with in those days, and what did we do, and where did we go to watch music, and what did we do with our pocket money back in those, all of those things. I just started writing all these things down, and if you listen to the song, which I hope your listeners do, there's quite a few references of the type of things that late 70s, early 80s, what we were doing, going to a record shop on a Saturday and spending our...
Oh,
do
you
remember
that?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there's that. There's a reference to that. There's a reference to Blondie and a few other bands of that time. And the song is literally about, take me back to those. The other thing that I kind of got to when I was doing the writing process was it better back then? Was life better back then? Was it simpler? And
mine was. I didn't have any responsibilities.
Yeah, well, that's part of it, isn't it? Part of it is no responsibility. So I think that makes life a lot simpler. And I think technology now is, can be a fantastic thing, but also I think in a lot of ways it's also a bit of a dangerous thing and can be, I don't know, particularly for younger people. I think there's a lot of pressure now on them because of social media
I'll
agree. So I started answering those sort of things within the lyric, because there's a kind of bridge passage where it says, "I'm starting to forget, so tell me I'm not wrong. Didn't everything feel different before Apple came along?" Do you know what I mean? And nothing against Apple, by the way, because all my stuff is Apple, but it was just sort of like summing up what technology might have, in the way that it's changed the world. There's a lot of good within it, don't get me wrong, but there's also, I don't know, I just think communication in particular, one-on-one communication has changed dramatically.
It has. I can't be rude about technology, because if it wasn't for the technology you're talking about, we wouldn't be doing this, and we wouldn't get an audience.
Absolutely.
But I do agree that it can be dangerous. But Take Me Back is a fantastic song.
Thank you.
It does speak to me in that way, because, I really miss the record shops. But what I really want to know about, because I believe the single came out at the beginning of September, there's an album to follow, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Well, the album's written. This is the third release from it. The album's written, but going back to my earlier point, affording to release it, because I'm setting my own standards within the writing and recording, and I've just I've just released a video for Take Me Back, which has just come out on YouTube. And if you watch it, and again, if your listeners do, just type in Take Me Back, Alan Dreezer. The production values, along with a number of my other videos, are, in my opinion, and I think most independent artists' opinion, are really top notch. And that's what, I think there's a saying, isn't there, unique selling point. I'm trying to find a unique selling point for my music, and part of that is the way I present myself within the videos, and we try and tell a story within those as well. So, in answer to your question, the album's written, but it's probably a year away from actually being released because of the financial, constraints of an independent artist. If I had back in, it would be out next week. But
well, I can't argue with that.
No.
Alan, it's been fantastic talking to you. I would like to end this interview with Take Me Back. So, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you coming in. If you can cue up this track.
Certainly. You're listening to Take Me Back on Lewes Radio.
Thank you very much.
Do you remember silly games we would play? Nothing else seemed to matter. We just lived for today. Queuing for heroes right round the block. Blinded the police and watching top of the pops. Come on, man. But then you had to go away. So take me back to those times when we all find mistakes we would make didn't block out the sunshine. Back to those streets where we would all meet and laugh about nothing, 'cause nothing was all that we had. Oh God, can you just take me back? 99's in 81. Top 40 countdown. We were waiting for invisible sun. Saturday visits downtown record shops. To cut a long story short, tennis rackets as guitars. We didn't care, we were together. So take me back to those times when we all find mistakes we would make didn't block out the sunshine. Back to those streets where we would all meet and laugh about nothing, 'cause nothing was all that we had. starting to forget. So tell me I'm not wrong. Didn't everything feel different before Apple came along? I'm starting to forget. So tell me I'm not wrong. Didn't everything feel different before Apple came along? Oh, please just take me back. So take me back to those times where we all fine. Mistakes we would make didn't block out the sunshine. Back to those streets where we would all meet and laugh about nothing, 'cause nothing was all that we had. Oh God, can you just take me back? God, just take me back.
Radio Lewes. Local community webcasting.